Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Brian Colletto Show here on Fireside and on YouTube. And if this should ever get uh, repurposed to other platforms, wherever you may listen to podcast shows. So, first, I want to acknowledge that I'm seeing my screen a little differently on Fireside than what I'm used to seeing. So, um, my apologies as I am flipping the camera. Um, I'm just doing what I feel is best for me at the moment. So, um, that being said, welcome. And I know this is a little uh, just a few days after my last show, because last week's show was a little bit late. It was on a Wednesday rather than a Monday like I usually do. But I'm here now, and so I wanted to talk about a few things. Those of you that know my show know that I do usually talk about autism, so I am going to do that. Um, and a few hours before this show's recording, a friend of mine um, put out a reel talking about whether we need autism awareness or autism acceptance. And he said he thinks we need both. And I fully agree. We need both of those terms because there still needs to be awareness, but we are past the stage where it's just about awareness. We're now at this stage of acceptance. So that is important as we move forward with things. Hi, Charlie. Good to see you here on Clubhouse Fireside. I should get my platforms correct. I use so many of them. All right, back to the topic. So, the next thing that I wanted to talk about as it relates to autism is a few articles that I read. I read an article um, just a little bit before this recording about some parents in Knoxville who are fighting for ABA services for their children. And they've gone to the school district a few times over the last few months, and they have not seen enough progress with it. And it has me thinking, um, why? With over, actually, almost, yeah, with over a decade worth of um, bringing consistent education, you would think that by now that Knoxville and every other town in the USA would have this pat down in terms of um, making sure that there are services for their for the children who go to school. Hi, Anthony. Good to see you. Um, so, um, just as a sort of a brief summary of what I've covered so far, um, again, I've said that I think autism awareness and autism acceptance are both needed in terms of the terms, and I agree with my friend who put out a reel about that. And I was talking about the battle that some of the parents in Knoxville are having in terms of making sure that ABA services are available for their child at a critical time in their lives where they need that. Now, I want to segue into another story here. Wow, I can't believe I've got a few people here on Fireside. Um, this usually doesn't happen, but I guess because there's not a lot going on these platforms, and because Fireside has changed its platform around a little bit, maybe more people are coming to me. Who knows? But you know, before I talk about my next story, I want to say that for me, it's not about the quantity in terms of what makes my podcast or my show successful. It's about, does it resonate with one person? Am I touching one person's heart? If I am, then this is all worth it. Um, because it's not about how big your audience can grow. I've always used that philosophy, even as my community has grown. Um, I mean, of course, we want to reach enough people, but I don't just make it about collecting connections or business cards or anything like that. Now, the second story that I wanted to say about what I read about autism is that I saw a story um, close to home for me, actually, where recently a young man in his teens who is nonverbal, um, he's had a service dog for a number of years, and that service dog died recently. And God is good. Um, a friend of the family put together a GoFundMe page, and they funded for a new dog for the young man. And the the reason for this is because this particular young man needs a dog specifically trained for autism. And not only does he have nonverbal autism, but he's got other health conditions as well, including epilepsy. And so um, he needs a service dog with him in so that in the event that there is a seizure, that they can catch it. And also just like something as simple as a doctor appointment or going out to eat. A service dog for some people on the spectrum can really make a difference. So I know that some people have fear of animals. I happen to be one of them, but I'm also respectful of the fact that um, some people on the spectrum need service dogs. So, um, yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. Hi, Devin. Good to see you. Um, I'm checking the chat here. Um, okay. Just looks like reaction buttons, which is really cool here. Um, yeah, and um, the last thing I'll share is um, this goes into a different kind of segment for me. It's about how the uh, my week has been since my last show, and since I did my last show last Wednesday, there's not really too much to report since that show. I will say that a group that I joined about a year ago, I got to essentially celebrate a 1 year anniversary with them on Thursday night. And in that case, too, I got to see in real life a few podcasters who I've first met either on Zoom, a combination of Zoom and Clubhouse. And so that was fun. Um, I did have an autism event on Saturday that I wound up canceling myself from going to. Um, and the reason was because it was about 45 minutes away and the weather was really bad. And I was not going to drive in it to get there. And I do not feel comfortable using Uber at this time. It is personal reasons. It is not to discourage people, but rather to say, in my truth, that I, with all of the stories I've heard about Uber, I don't feel comfortable doing it. Um, it's safety and also um, financial as well. So, um, so yeah. Other than that, I had a relaxing weekend. Um, so that is what I've got for now. If any of you on Fireside uh, want to come up and chat, please feel free to raise your hand. I am adjusting to this new format, so please bear with me if I don't see certain notifications. I'm looking at this one right now. Oh, it says Charlie. Okay. Yeah. Come on up, Charlie, if you want. Um, and I don't. Oh, there you
Hey,
are. Um, let's see. Um, if you, I'm gonna invite you to video.
I can't go to
If you
video
want
to.
to come on video, if you just want to stay on audio, that's okay too. And I'm gonna unplug this mic because it's in my phone, and so that I will be able to hear you. And so, with that, let me go ahead and unplug it. Okay, you should be able to hear me. And Charlie, welcome to the stage. What
Hey,
would you like to share?
I just wanted to tell you, Brian, you're doing a great job. I like it. I'm gonna support you. Um, every time I see that you're on, I think that you got it together, man. And I remember seeing you on Tony show, and I just think that you are doing a great job, and you got my support no matter what.
I appreciate that, Charlie. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming to listen in and to share. I really appreciate that. Um, yeah, and yeah, Tony is a great guy down there. He
Sure
may
is.
not be able. Yeah, he may not be able to come up tonight, but I appreciate him listening in. So um, yeah, is
All right.
up. He's requesting.
Oh, okay, good.
Um,
I'll leave the stage. All right.
yeah, I mean, you're welcome to stay if you
Oh,
want.
all right. Okay. All right.
All right. Yeah, just mute if you can.
Sure.
Um, and welcome to the stage, Anthony or Tony.
I'm not. Okay, now you should be able to hear me. Do you hear me?
Now I do. Yes.
Okay, all right, cool. You know they just updated the app today, and all the buttons are in a different place. Wow. Hey, but it's really good to see and hear you this evening. And I will accept. Let me get some light on me. There we go. I think you can see me. I'm just sitting at my desk. Uh, yeah. Can you see me? Okay. I think you can see
Yep,
me.
I can see you great.
All right. Let me raise the camera a little bit. That might help. So you're not looking up my nose. Okay. Yeah, but it's really good to see and hear you this evening. I didn't get to see your last show, the one that was after Easter. So I wanted to ask, how was your Easter?
My Easter was really good.
Good.
We went to visit some relatives about an hour or so away from me,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that included some who don't live in my state. Um,
Right.
so that was pretty fun.
Ah, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. That's fabulous. Oh, so cool. Yeah, we just did a show live from New Orleans this last weekend, and that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Okay, well, really, I don't want to take up your whole show. I just wanted to drop in on you and say hi and check on your Easter, and you're doing a great show, and keep it up. You're doing such a great job, so
Thank you
that's
so
cool.
much, Tony. Yeah, and I hope to visit New Orleans one day. That's among the many things on my bucket list. Um, New Orleans seems like a pretty cool place for jazz, and
Oh
uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I love jazz. I tell my wife Jill, we can't move there because I love jazz so much. I would be out every night listening to jazz, and I wouldn't be at home. So we wouldn't. It wouldn't because I was cheating on her. It would be because I just love jazz so much, and you can catch jazz every day of the week. In New Orleans. And not only that, you can catch free jazz every day of the week in New Orleans. So yeah, I would be like at every single venue. So I don't think I'll move to New Orleans. So I just visit a lot. And my sister lives there. So that makes it good. Yeah.
oh,
So
okay. Where are you at?
I am in Atlanta area,
Okay,
Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. And you're somewhere up north, aren't you? I
New
couldn't.
Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey. I used to live up that way. I grew up that way out in Long Island, and I've got relatives in the Oranges. I got relatives in Hackensack. Hackensack's rough. It was rough when I was a kid. I know it's probably still rough now. Um, and I have some relatives in Rockaway, which
Rockaway.
is out. Yeah, yeah, which is out a little further. Not Rockaway, Rockway, which is in New Jersey.
Oh, okay,
Rockaway's in New York. Yeah, but yeah,
okay.
it's good to see you. I just wanted to say hi because I did say I would try to drop in, get into your show live. So I was happy I was able to do that. This is so cool. This is so cool. And really, just keep up the good work. Just keep doing what you're doing because I'm sure just you being on this platform helps a lot of people. A lot of people because you're like a shining example of what a person can do if they want to, especially if they have autism. And I know it's difficult. To put yourself out there like that. Not everybody can do that. Whether they have autism or not, not everyone can do it, and you're doing it. So that's I'm just like amazed by you and that you keep such a positive attitude. So again, Just keep it up. And I'm going to try to figure out how to take myself down with them changing everything. All right, I'm just going to leave the stage.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anthony, for coming on. And thank you, Charlie, as well, for coming up here. Um, wow. Uh, a little bit to digest. And please react if you have a hard time hearing me, because I'm getting a poor network quality message here as I speak. But um, yeah, wow, that's a lot to digest, but a good amount to digest at the moment, as it relates to everything. Um, yeah, I know what I wanted to say. Um, I um, I used to play jazz, and I was in jazz band in school, and I played trombone in jazz. The trombone was my primary instrument growing up. It was a lot of my voice before I started being more verbal. Um, so that's a little bit of trivia for you. Um, yeah, I played from like fourth or fifth grade all the way through high school and a few times after high school. But then once the 2010s came, I stopped. I could still play it in my sleep, but I had to put more focus into other areas of my life, um, which included um, my improving fitness and things like that. So, but music is still very much a part of me. I think, as I've said on my show before, um, music can really help people on the spectrum um, with expressing themselves or just even getting out and dancing. So, um, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Um, I was also interviewed earlier today um, for a Facebook group podcast. Um, wasn't a very long one. It's not. It wasn't like the actual podcast of my friend, um, but it was sort of like a dry run of sorts, and she did that uh, because of it being Autism Month and the fact that um, I I shared a post on Twitter about that. I don't post as much on Twitter as I do my other platforms because the traction is just not as good on there for me. Um, I've only been on Twitter a few months, but you know, it's good to have all these platforms, but it's also good to know where your best audiences are and also at specific times too. It can make a big difference between um, burnout and managing your time really well with these platforms. So, um, yeah, so I think that's all I've got tonight. So thank you again, Charlie and Anthony, for coming up. And I want to thank everyone who listened live on Fireside and who may listen to this on replay, either on Fireside or my YouTube channel where this streams. And hopefully, I will be back next Monday. Um, I am very poor at scheduling these things ahead of time because life just kind of gets in the way and it gets hard for me to zero in on scheduling these things. But hopefully, I'll be back next Monday. And until then, I send you all Love, light, blessings, and peace. And I'm going to figure out how to uh, invite the waitbot up. Here we go. And I'm going to figure out how to end this.